Welcome to the Daily Sports Content Economy Podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 3, 2026, and I have to say, the research stack this morning was something else. It was absolutely overflowing.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So to get everyone up to speed for today's deep dive, we've pulled together data from about 24 different references and articles. We're talking the big ones, reports from Sports Pro, Sports Business Journal, The Athletic, Pure Analysis, and Viaxis Orca.
It is a massive amount of data, but when you lay it all out, it really does paint a very specific picture, cuts through the noise.
It really does. So before we get into the weeds, let's just set the stage. The top 5 headlines you need to know this morning. First up, the money cannon is still firing. From Sports Pro and Pure Analysis, streamers to spend U.S. $14.2 billion on sports rights in 2026.
Which is a huge number. But the highlight there, the real story, is that spend is up 7% year over year, and this is the key. Amazon Prime Video has now officially overtaken DAZN as the top spender. It's all about subscriber retention.
Okay, headline number 2 from Sports Pro. Women's sports and emerging properties labeled Trojan horses for sponsorship.
Yeah, this one is fascinating. I mean, basically, brands are flocking to these alternative leagues. They get lower entry costs and what they're calling brand-safe fandoms because the major leagues are just getting so overcrowded.
Right, okay. Third headline, and this one. This one feels like science fiction. It's from Gen.co. Anthropic X Williams F1. Claude named official thinking partner.
Right. So the big takeaway is that AI isn't just a back-end tool anymore. It's a public-facing partner. Tech firms are using sports to build trust in AI.
Wow. Okay, headline number 4, straight from The Athletic. WTA Tour signs landmark Mercedes sponsorship deal.
Big money. It's a premier partnership approaching, $50 million a year? It just proves the surging commercial value of women's elite tennis.
No question. And finally, number 5, this one's from Viaxis Orca. 6 essential priorities for sports streaming success in 2026.
And the main thing there is that monetization is moving way beyond just the subscription. We're talking about shopping cart commerce and even microtransactions for things like a specific camera angle.
Okay, let's unpack all that. Because when I look at that list, I see a fundamental shift. It feels like the days of just, slapping a logo on a jersey and calling it a day are completely over.
That's exactly right. And that's really where we have to start the new sponsorship playbook. I mean, if you read the reporting from Porter Wills and Sports Pro, they're talking about a shift from logo placement to data-driven partnerships.
So what does that actually mean, in practice? Because data-driven gets thrown around a lot.
Well, it used to be that a brand just paid for eyeballs. That was the currency. But what Porter Wills highlights is that now, in 2026, brands are demanding measurable outcomes. Equity alignment. They don't just want to be seen.
They want the data to prove that the sponsorship actually moved the needle.
Precisely. They want skin in the game. And this connects directly to this whole creator economy integration that Sports Pro has been tracking.
Yeah.
In 2026, you just can't sell a sponsorship without social-first content rights baked right in.
Baked in, so they're not an add-on anymore.
No, it's part of the core deal. And this is where it gets really interesting for the up-and-coming leagues. Think USL Soccer, mountain biking tours, that sort of thing. Sports Pro points out they're giving creators co-ownership of the IP.
Wait, co-ownership of the IP? That sounds drastic. I mean, leagues usually guard their IP with an army of lawyers. You're saying they're just handing the keys to YouTubers?
They almost have to. It's a leverage play. Look, if you're the NFL, you hoard your IP. But if you're a niche tour, you need the reach. So by giving an influencer co-ownership, you're letting them stream the games or co-produce a whole series.
You're letting them run the broadcast.
In a way, yeah. To reach those younger fans where they are. And the data from Nielsen backs this up. It suggests fans trust these creator-led stories way more than a traditional 30-second ad. It feels authentic.
So if I'm understanding the Sports Business Journal reporting, this isn't just for consumer brands like sneakers or energy drinks.
Yeah.
We're seeing B2B brands jump in too, right?
Oh, that's a huge piece of the puzzle in 2026. SBJ notes that tech, SaaS, cybersecurity, AI firms, they're all getting into sponsorship. But they're not looking for mass reach.
They don't care about 1 million eyeballs.
Nope. They want influence. SBJ explains this opens up massive doors for niche sports. If you run a triathlon series, your demographic is probably full of high-income decision makers. A cybersecurity firm sponsors that league for the few thousand professionals watching who might actually buy their enterprise software.
That is such a smart pivot. It turns a smaller audience into a super high-value asset.
Exactly. And to service those assets efficiently, well, it brings us to the engine powering all of this, AI.
Right, that headline about Williams F1 and Anthropic. But beyond the flashy thinking partner title, SBJ and Sports Pro are reporting that AI has moved from just being an experiment to a daily tool.
Yeah, it's the unsexy side of AI that's really changing the business, especially for Tier 2 sports. SBJ highlights how smaller leagues, like, say, local rodeos or endurance races, are using AI for automated content clipping.
Explain that workflow. How does that help a rodeo?
Okay, so imagine you're a small league. You got hours of footage, but no big editing team. Sports Pro notes that AI can now automatically identify the key moments. A great ride, a crash clip them, format them for TikTok or Instagram, and get them to sponsors almost instantly.
So a small league can act like a big league.
Yes, they can service those B2B sponsors we were just talking about with high-quality video clips without a massive production payroll. It kind of democratizes the whole content economy.
And I'm guessing this ties back to the data side, too.
100%. Sports Pro analysis shows these AI-driven data platforms let you segment fans with incredible granularity. We are so far past just targeting a generic sports fan.
So what are they targeting instead?
They're targeting high-value micro-audiences, like endurance athlete households with high disposable income. The AI can package that specific audience and sell it to a sponsor at a premium.
That's incredible. It's surgical.
It is. And just to call back to that Gen.co report on Williams F1, that's the peak of this trend. They're not just using AI, they're branding the AI as a team member, a thinking partner. It just normalizes its presence in the sport.
So we've got the data-driven sponsorship, the AI engine making it all efficient. Now, let's talk about the big money. That $14.2 billion number from Ampere Analysis is just staggering.
That's a record. Sports Pro and Ampere Analysis confirm it. Global streamers are hitting that $14.2 billion mark in 2026.
And the big headline there was the changing of the guard, right?
Yes. For the first time, Amazon Prime Video is projected to be the single biggest spender. They're overtaking DAZN, who's held that top spot since, 2018.
Why is that shift happening now? DAZN is a sports company. Amazon is everything.
And that's exactly why. The Sports Pro analysis says for Amazon, sports rights are a retention tool for Prime. They don't need sports to be profitable on their own. They just need you to keep your Prime subscription so you also buy, diapers and dog food.
So DAZN has to make the math work on its own, but Amazon can lose money on the games as long as you stay in the ecosystem. That seems like an unfair fight.
It's totally asymmetric, and it dries up prices for everyone, which is the big problem Sports Pro and SBJ are talking about. With the 2026 World Cup and Winter Olympics coming up, prices at the very tops are just skyrocketing.
So brands are getting priced out.
Exactly. The inventory for the NFL or the World Cup is becoming prohibitively expensive. And that creates what Sports Pro is calling the Trojan horse opportunity.
I love that phrase. So what makes these emerging properties Trojan horses?
It's about getting inside the consumer's walled garden. Advertisers are realizing that women's sports, rugby, triathlon, these properties offer a way into these incredibly engaged communities.
At a fraction of the price of the NBA, I'm guessing.
A tiny fraction. But the engagement is often way higher. You're not just buying eyeballs, you're buying trust. And that's why the Athletic report on that $50 million Mercedes WTA deal is so important. Mercedes gets that this isn't a charity buy. It's a direct line to a premium audience.
So the smart money is diversifying, not putting all their eggs in the Super Bowl basket.
Correct. They're spreading it out. And once they have those rights, the question is, how do they make money? That Viaccess Orca report on 6 essential priorities was really interesting here. Specifically the idea of micro-monetization.
Right. Subscription fatigue is a real thing.
It is. So Viaccess Orca outlines things like the hybrid model. Core events are behind a low paywall, but all the highlights and analysis are free with ads. It just lowers the barrier to entry.
But then they take it a step further with microtransactions, right?
This is the really cool tech. Imagine you just want to watch the final 10 minutes of a close game, or you want the helmet cam view from one specific mountain biker. The platforms are now charging small fees, a microtransaction, for just that.
So I could pay like 50 cents to see the helmet cam for 5 minutes.
Exactly. It captures revenue from a casual fan who would never, ever buy a season pass. And then there's the last piece, shopping cart monetization.
This sounds like the Amazon influence again.
Totally. It just blurs the line between viewing and buying. The tech now lets you buy merchandise directly inside the video player. You see the shoes an athlete is wearing, you click, you buy, and you never leave the stream.
That is the ultimate convergence. You're watching the content, engaged with the creator, and buying the product, all in one interface.
And that's why content economy is the perfect term. It's not broadcasting anymore. It's an interactive economy.
So let's zoom out. If we put this all together, 2026 really seems to be the year where the walls just finally came down.
I think that's the perfect way to summarize it. When you look at all these sources, from Porter Wills to Viaxis Orca, the big takeaway is that content rights and sponsorship have completely and totally merged.
You can't separate them anymore.
You really can't. You can't sell a logo without a creator strategy. And you can't just stream a game without some kind of dynamic AI-driven monetization model running underneath.
And for those up-and-coming leagues, the Tier 2 properties, this is actually good news.
It's great news. The technology, the AI clipping tools, the white label streaming platforms, it finally levels the playing field. They don't need an NFL-sized budget anymore to put out a professional monetizable product.
It's a fascinating time, but before we sign off, I want to leave you with one thought to chew on.
Go for it.
We've talked about brands demanding co-ownership of IP and creators broadcasting the games. It raises a pretty provocative question for me. If brands are co-owning the IP and creators are the voice of the broadcast, at what point does the sponsor or the influencer become more powerful than the league itself?
That is the question of the decade, isn't it? Who actually owns the fan relationship? If the fans are loyal to the creator, not the league, does the audience leave when the creator does?
That's the risk. Something to think about. Thank you for joining the Daily Sports Content Economy podcast. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Daily Sports Content Economy podcast. If you're ready to build your content media empire, we should probably talk. Visit rootgroupmarketing.com. Thanks for watching and listening.